girl ChucTayyy, and I am here with your RETV Sports Break. You can catch me here every Thursday talking junk, spitting facts, and hopefully with no kids trying to break into the room this week. So let's get into it. We are going to start off with NFL, which is kicking off this Thursday, September the 10th, with the reigning Super Bowl champs, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Houston Texans. Not really much to report here, except that the NFL has finally dispersed, that's not the right word, their CBA, their collective bargaining agreement, and all of the rules and stipulations that will follow for this season. The first one is they are going to expand their active roster for this season as well as their practice squads. The biggest takeaway for me was the inclusion of the COVID-19 list. They are testing all players every day in the regular season with the exception of game days to ensure that positive testing players or players that may have been exposed to someone who was positive or symptomatic are not included. So really with the active rosters, they have until 4 p.m. the Wednesday before game day, to let them know what the active roster is. But with the inclusion of the COVID-19 list, they have up until game time to say, okay, such and such has tested positive on Friday. So now we need to pull from our practice squad or what have you and add to this active list, and then in turn move the tested positive player onto the COVID-19 list. So I have thoughts and qualms. I have qualms. Really what it is, I don't understand why you would expand the active list, because that just means more bodies. And more bodies means more activity and more room for the virus to do what viruses do. Second thing, especially practice squads. I guess it's the same thing. The active list and the practice squads at this particular juncture equate to be the same thing because, again, more bodies, more room for the virus to incubate and then spread. I am very interested to see how this works out because it's a virus and it's a sport, a heavy contact sport. I mean, all sports people are huffing and puffing, but in football, like, you actually have to touch people. So, like, on purpose. So I guess we will see how that works out. It is going to be a very interesting season. See if they come up with some artificial noise in those stadiums where they will not allow fans to be. See how eerily quiet it might be in the Superdome. But I guess we'll see. So like I said, Thursday night, I've been waiting all day for Thursday night. Y'all, I really love the Sunday Night Football song. I also really like Carrie Underwood, but don't judge me, judge your mama. So Thursday Night Football, Kansas City Chiefs, Houston Texans, Super Bowl rings coming in, and it is predicted that the Chiefs are getting ready to start their dynasty, or rather that their dynasty has already started, and that they will be going back to the Super Bowl. I also read an article that the Cowboys are going to. I just won't even touch too much more on that. But it is looking like the Chiefs are still kind of highly favored for this season, so we definitely have to make sure that we watch on Thursday and see if they can carry that Super Bowl momentum from February before everything went and into the new season with their heavy Super Bowl ringed fingers. So we will touch base on that again next week, guys, and all day on Sunday I'm just gonna sit and relax with my wine, because I don't drink beer, and be waiting all day for Sunday night. Are you ready for some football? Because I am. Next up, the NCAA Men's Basketball. Really more of the ACC head coaches have decided to petition, if you will, to get rid of non-conference games for the year, as well as include an all-inclusive NCAA tournament with all 60 plus teams in the NCAA, D1 NCAA. Coach K, you are leading this charge, and I don't know who has that kind of time, because I do not. Really, I do like the non-conference game. So the purpose of that is to eliminate the amount of travel that the team has to do, which means that you don't really have to travel unless you're in that conference. You would stay away from some of the high risk states that are still, lingering. You will uh, eliminate, yeah, that's the word, eliminate some of the contact with other players, other fans, especially those in those high risk states. You just don't really know. They haven't really come out and said if they're going to let fans, students, what have you, into games. We're not quite there yet for this upcoming season, but like I said, just traveling alone, and especially if you stay within your conference, there is a chance that you do not have to do overnight travel. You could, bust your way down to wherever, in the morning, have your shoot around and warm ups and such things, play your game, and turn around and get back to the where you got to go. So I do understand that, and I can appreciate that. It keeps the players safe. It keeps the coaches safe. It keeps the fans safe. So I can agree with that. Now, why or where, like I said, are we getting the time to watch 60-some teams play all the way until we get to the Final Four and then the championship? Coach K specifically said that it doesn't matter when they have the tournament, and I get it. He's also trying to make sure that the teams that maybe had a shot last season when the tournament was all together canceled have a chance to still play, because we don't know how the season is going to pan out, and that those teams would even get to be into the tournament this coming season. So I do understand that, but that's just a lot of teams. And yes, we don't know when the tournament is going to be. I would personally say the sooner the better. Maybe do a February frenzy. Hey, if they call it that, can we circle back to this so I can get paid? Thanks, guys. So yeah, so if you have it sooner, then we could draw this out a little longer, I suppose. But you can't really take this past the school year. You don't have as much time as the NBA does because it's still school. So that's just my thought. But I get it. I got the sentiment. I appreciate it, Coach K and other coaches in the ACC. I just think that that's a lot. But maybe you can get it done by eliminating those non-conference games, because then the season would be a little bit shorter. You just make sure you play them all twice. So that would definitely lessen the amount of time in between regular season and tournament time. However, it just seems like a lot. It just seems like a lot. So we'll have to see and keep our eyes peeled on how that is going to turn out. And then, of course, there are other conferences, not just the ACC. So we'll have to see what some of these other conference coaches come in and say, if they're going to join the wave or if they're going to say, nah, we good, love, enjoy. So we'll have to see. Moving right along. NBA. Now, guys, Miami Heat, they are balling. They are hooping. They are actually getting ready to be on their way to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since a Big Three time back in 2014. And they got rid of the Milwaukee Bucks, which was not supposed to happen, guys. This is why I love sports, right? Because it's completely unpredictable. And it's just the greatest thing. It's just so great to watch, because Milwaukee was supposed to win it all. If you ask the experts, they were the winningest team this season. The bubble was a formality for them. And it was kind of like, yeah, we just have to do it. It was like busy work, right? The bubble was busy work for them. Like, okay, we just got to do this until we get to the playoffs. Woo-woo. And then you lost. And then you lost 4-1. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of thought that maybe they could pull off a Denver Nugget and be down 3 and come back and win it in 7. That was a thought that crossed my mind, especially when they won, the 4th game. But then when Giannis went down, and then they were like, oh, he's not coming back. Yes, they are a good team without him. I'm not getting ready to say that he carries that team. That's not what happens here. However, big part of it So when he didn't return for game 5, I was just kind of like, yeah, I think it's over for them. And honestly, guys, I'm just gonna say now, Giannis has one more year left on his contract in Milwaukee, and he's out. He's gone. Just mark my word. It's September 2020. At this current moment is the 9th. When you watch it, it will be the 10th. But it doesn't matter. This week, I said he's gone. He's leaving. There's just been too much stuff going on in Milwaukee. He had a good run. He served his time, for lack of a better way to say that, and he's out. He's gone, and I think that if he could be gone sooner, he would be. I just think his time is up in Milwaukee. I don't know where he's going. I still have to dive through that a little bit more, but I think he's out. So anyway, the Miami Heat and Jimmy Butler's mustache are on their way to the Eastern Conference Finals, and we are awaiting to see if they will be there with the Boston Celtics or the Toronto Raptors. I think I've said several times since the playoffs have started, I'm not super jazzed about the Eastern Conference. They're just, it's very rare that they do it for me, just to be completely honest. I'm gonna watch it, right? I'm gonna watch it. I do think Miami's gonna go. I do think they're going to go to the finals. So we'll have to keep our eye on that. But I'm just not super jazzed about the East. And then we have the Lakers and the Rockets in the West. And then we also have the Clippers and the Nuggets. I'm just going to go ahead and say I think the Rockets are going. I think that they are going to bounce the Lakers out of here. I think that the Lakers they did a good job coming together. I just don't think they have it. I don't think they have it yet, all the way. I don't think they have finals readiness quite yet. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I think that James Harden and Russell Westbrook are, as long as they can both stay healthy, or at least semi-healthy, I guess, I think that they're going to go. I think they're going to go to the finals. I just feel like this has been the longest playoff season ever. I don't know if it's because of the bubble busy work. I just feel like it was like busy work for everybody. It was like substitute teacher day at school, and it's like, okay, well, you got to sub for 8 straight days or whatever, and we're just gonna give you some worksheets, and just, I don't know, it just feels mad long. Like, even the Eastern, I mean, I know the Eastern Conference Finals aren't set yet, but like, they don't even have a date because the Celtics and the Raptors are still playing, and it just feels so long. Like, it's September. It's September. Ugh. And then you got the draft. That's gonna be. They're talking about November the 18th. That's like really not that far away. It's just, COVID sucks, guys. It just sucks. Anyway, one last thing, and then I'm going to let you guys go. Steve Nash has been named the head coach of the Brooklyn Nets, and people are pissed. And I don't really care that much. Here's why. I think that, one, they could have done much worse than an 18-year NBA veteran. I think that they could have done way worse. And just the player. You know, like Steve Nash, first of all, Steve Nash's basketball IQ is ridiculous. And you have some players that spent mad long in the league and were garbage. You got players that, not even that they're garbage, but like they spent time on a rock. So you know what, I'm going to just say, Juwan Howard got some rings, more than one, if I'm not mistaken, and didn't play in none of those games. And he could be the coach of the Nets. Like, that's a possibility, right? So that's the kind of stuff that I think about. Like, I'm pretty big picture. And yes, there was some sort of, like, line that he skipped. But you could have done way worse than Steve Nash. Like, way worse, in my opinion. And he's not alone. He's going to have a coaching staff. Whether he picks them or the franchise picks them, I guess at this point is irrelevant. But those people will have the coaching IQ, if you will, that and when I say we, I mean everybody else, because like I said, I don't really care that much, that he is lacking. or that you're saying that he is lacking. You know, there are, it's just, they could have done way worse than Steve Nash. I mean, he's not Jordan, I guess. You know, if we have to compare it, you know, he's not, I'm trying to think, he's not Charles Barkley, I guess. You know, I'm trying to think of players that aren't playing anymore. But you just could have done worse than that. And I'm very interested to see what happens with the Nets next year. All of those ends. I'm interested to see what happens with them next year as he is the coach, because I just feel like if they start winning, or, you know, if he can get them to the postseason at least, then this is like, then everybody's gonna be like, oh, well, I mean, he was in the league 18 years and blah, blah, blah. Right, but that was all the same stuff that happened when he got hired and y'all were still having hissy fits. For me, guys, it's just not really that big of a deal. You know, and it just wasn't that big of a deal. And I have yet to hear somebody say who the other contenders for that job were. And it might just be that. It might not even really be the fact that he was in the league as a player for 18 years. It may have been that the other competition sucked. You know, I feel very strongly about coaches. I don't know if it's because I'm married to one or what, but I just feel very strongly about them. And I'm okay with Steve Nash. So I'm going to spare you guys the ramble and the rant. I feel very strongly about coaches, and I didn't get kid free this week, guys. You gonna come say hi, buddy?
Who are you talking to?
Say hi, everyone.
Hi.
So I feel very strongly about coaches, and we'll spare you guys that rant, but I'm good with Steve Nash. Are you good with Steve Nash?
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. So that is it for this week on RETV Sports Break. I am your girl, ChucTayyy. We are going to get out of here. Can you say bye to the people?
Bye.
Bye, people. See you next week.